In boxing, pride can be a dangerous weapon. Confidence can lift a fighter to greatness, but arrogance? That's what gets them hurt. Time and again, the sport has shown that when the lights go bright and the crowd begins to roar, the ring doesn't care about talk. It only respects truth, and on nights like these, the truth hit harder than any punch. It was 2018 when a young, fiery prospect named Edgar Berlanga stepped into the ring for just his 5th professional fight. Across from him stood fellow unbeaten fighter Sadiq Muhammad, a man who tried to break him long before the first bell. At the weigh-in, Muhammad puffed his chest, barked his threats, and glared into Berlanga's eyes. But once the fight began, all that bravado vanished. 10 seconds in, Berlanga unleashed a vicious assault, flooring Muhammad with a thunderous combination. And when the action resumed, one monstrous shot ended it all. In less than a minute, the arrogant challenger lay on the canvas, his confidence shattered. That night, Berlanga didn't just win. He taught a lesson about respect. A year earlier, in 2017, China's Karui Ma faced the Congo's Faroulis in a light heavyweight bout that turned from sport to spectacle. Faroulis had no interest in fighting. He danced, clowned, and taunted. The audience laughed, but Karui didn't. In round 2, he decided the time for games was over. A clean right hand dropped Faroulis once, then again, and when he realized he couldn't win, the clown turned to dirty tricks. But it didn't matter. Karui stayed composed and boxed his way to a dominant decision, walking away with dignity, while his opponent left humiliated. Sometimes, though, karma doesn't wait long. Before their bare-knuckle bout, Steve Herelius tried to humiliate Leonardo Parado by slapping him at the weigh-in. But when the bell rang, it took just 13 seconds for Parado to silence him. One brutal punch, and the bully hit the floor, motionless. The crowd gasped. The message was clear. In the ring, there's no room for ego. Even legends weren't immune to cockiness. Back in 2009, a teenage Canelo Alvarez, fiery-haired, calm, and hungry, faced the veteran Leonardo Tyner, a 34-year-old loudmouth from Detroit. Tyner mocked him mercilessly, bragging about experience, taunting the kid with cinnamon hair, and dismissing his skills. But Canelo never flinched. Once the fight began, his youth turned to fire. His speed, precision, and poise overwhelmed the veteran, who quickly realized talk doesn't win rounds. Canelo schooled him for every second of the fight, cruising to a comfortable decision victory and proving that arrogance is no match for discipline. Then came a moment straight out of a movie. Kickboxer Sina Karimian disrespected his opponent Lucy Lowe in ways few could imagine, tearing up his picture, shoving him during the weigh-in, and laughing at the idea of losing. But Lowe stayed silent. Once the bell rang, silence turned to violence. His punches found their mark again and again, dropping Karimian twice in the first round. By the third, Lowe's relentless power ended it. Karimian crumbled, his earlier grin replaced with defeat. Even social media fame couldn't save arrogance. In Puerto Rico, 2 internet stars, Gallo the producer and Artie Cardi, took their online rivalry to the ring. Artie went too far at the face-off, crossing every line of respect. But when fight night came, Gallo unleashed months of bottled-up fury. 3 knockdowns in 1 round, each punch a reminder that actions have consequences. The influencer act had ended. The fighter had arrived, and in the bare-knuckle scene, pride burned just as bright. Julian Lane faced former UFC veteran Jim Allers, trying every trick in the book, insults, gestures, even a throat-slitting motion before the bell. But once the fight began, Allers showed him what real aggression looks like. In round 2, a clean shot sent Lane crashing down. He got up dazed, only to be finished seconds later. The same hands that had threatened him moments earlier now waved in surrender. Even heavyweights aren't spared from karma. Daniel Dubois, once humble, came into his rematch with Alexander Usyk full of swagger. He mocked the champion's age, promised chaos, and called himself the young lion ready to take over. But Usyk, calm, smiling, unshaken, had heard it all before. When the fight began, the Ukrainian technician picked Dubois apart. His jab sliced through Dubois's guard. His footwork left him swinging at air. By round 5, Usyk dropped him once. Then again. This time Dubois couldn't rise. The young lion had been tamed. In 2013, Austin Trout tried to play the same game against Canelo Alvarez. Coming off a big win, Trout dismissed Canelo's power, mocked his footwork, and promised to turn him all night. But once again, the Mexican proved why the quiet ones are dangerous. Canelo's counterpunching was surgical, his right hand brutal. By the 7th round, Trout's legs betrayed him, buckling under Canelo's power, the first knockdown of his career. When the final bell rang, there was no doubt who the better man was. Then came the new era, and the lesson continued. In a WBC title eliminator, Edgar Berlanga once again let his mouth run wild before facing Hamza Shiraz. He taunted, swore, and promised a knockout. But once the fight began, his words meant nothing. Shiraz stayed patient, waiting for the moment to strike. In the 4th round, he dropped Berlanga once, then again. By round 5, it was over. The loudmouth was silent, and the crowd was on its feet. Even debutantes learned this lesson the hard way. In 2019, Japan's Yuki Yazawa was nearly humiliated in his first fight, dropped twice by an overconfident opponent, Kazuki Nakamura. Kazuki taunted, laughed, even raised his hands mid-round, until one perfect shot from Yazawa ended everything. The crowd erupted. The tables had turned, and perhaps no story defines poetic justice better than Dmitry Pirog versus Daniel Jacobs. In 2010, Jacobs stood as America's golden boy, predicting an easy night, mocking the unknown Russian across from him. But Pirog wasn't there to talk. He was there to shock the world. Through 5 rounds, he outboxed Jacobs, then in the 5th unleashed a perfect right hand. Jacobs fell hard and never beat the count. The crowd went silent. The underdog had delivered the knockout of the year, and a reminder that arrogance is the quickest way to fall. In boxing, the ring has no memory, but it never lies. Every time a fighter steps inside, they leave behind their words and face the truth. And for these men, the truth hit harder than they ever imagined. Which of these knockouts was your favorite? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more stories where pride met its punishment inside the ring.